Welcome to a new What's for Dinner here on the Daily Connoisseur. I'm going to share the highlights from my meal plan for the past 2 weeks, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Daily Connoisseur. I'm going to be sharing the highlights from our meal plan for the past 2 weeks, all of the really good recipes. I like to meal plan and it just helps me and my family stay on budget. Plus it's quite exciting and liberating to know what I'm going to be making for the week and that it's all in the refrigerator and there's less stress when I do it this way. I always put timestamps and library cards down below so you can see what I am making this week and jump to the recipe if you need to. I also share all of the recipes in my corresponding blog post, which I will leave down below. On the menu this week, we are making barbecue lime cod with coconut rice, chicken pot pie, my mom's famous spaghetti bolognese, air fryer fish tacos, taco pizza, and carne asada burritos. We were really feeling like Mexican food this week, if you couldn't tell. All right, let's get started with the barbecue lime cod. This recipe comes from my neighbor. I was chatting with her and she's from Mexico and they used to make this when she was a child and she makes it now. And she was telling me about this marinade, which is barbecue sauce, mayonnaise, and lime juice. I thought it sounded strange, but she told me to try it and she was absolutely right. It's so good. So I'm going to start off by making the coconut rice in the rice cooker. I am just putting 4 rice cooker cups of white rice and I'm adding 1 can of coconut and water up to the 4-cup line. Cook that according to my rice cooker instructions. Now I'm going to take the cod. I have 2 large fillets here. Season them with salt and pepper, and I'm going to combine the sauce. Now my neighbor did not have measurements for me because she just cooks by intuition, so I'm guessing here I did about 1 cup of barbecue sauce and just about 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, and I'm just mixing that all together. Take the juice from 1 lime and squeeze that in there with my beloved lemon squeezer. So I have to say, the lime juice really makes this. If you don't have lime juice, I'm not really sure how it would turn out. It's just perfect, that tangy, specific lime flavor. So I put salt and pepper on the cod and then I brush this sauce all over the fish, top and bottom, and let this sit for a while just to marinate. Meanwhile, while it's marinating, I'm cooking the broccoli. I'm just steaming it. And then I baked the cod for about 20 minutes at 400 degrees, and then I finished it off in the broiler for about 2 minutes. And this is what it looks like. I served it with a scoop of the coconut rice, and I had toasted some shredded coconut on top. And that just added the perfect touch. This was delicious. Everybody loved this dish. I was really impressed with this marinade. It sounded strange to me, but I can completely see why my neighbor loves to have it this way. And she said they like to eat it over shrimp and fish. So this is definitely one to try. All right, I'm going to be making my chicken pot pie for you today. I've made this before on the channel as freezer meals, but I'm just going to show you how I make it here for dinner tonight and enough to freeze for a later date. So on the stove I am browning some chopped onion and some chopped carrot and celery. You could really use whatever vegetables you want. This is what I'm using right now. Overnight I cook my chicken breasts with some broth, and this is my trick. I cook them like this, and then it's so easy to shred the chicken this way. So I just take the chicken out, I put it in the KitchenAid, and I go ahead and shred it. That's about 4 chicken breasts, but of course I will leave my recipe in the corresponding blog post. So you can make a large batch of shredded chicken and use it for all sorts of things like enchiladas and the like. Now I'm going to make my roux. I have 1/2 cup of butter and 1/2 cup of flour, and I'm just going to stir that until the floury flavor has cooked off. To that, I'm going to add some chicken broth from the slow cooker. And I didn't have quite enough, so I added a bit of water and bouillon as well. You could add bouillon for extra flavor if you like. Stir that in, and this makes a really thick sauce combined with that roux. And now I'm going to add all of the shredded chicken. This is hard to film with one hand, sorry. And you can see how creamy it is. And now I'm going to add the vegetables. I ended up also adding some frozen vegetables just because I wanted to pack it with some more veggies and I wanted to get rid of the rest of a bag that I had. So I just put those in there as well. Again, you could put whatever type of vegetable you want in this. Take a puff pastry that has been thawed, and you can get these in the frozen section of your grocery store. And I'm going to put about a half of that filling into this casserole dish. By the way, I forgot to say that I seasoned it with seasonal. It's like my favorite seasoning. I'm going to place the pastry on top. Create slits in the pastry so that some steam can vent. And then you're going to brush the top of this with an egg wash. And you can bake this in the oven until the puff pastry is browned, and that could take, anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes at 350 degrees. And this is what it looks like. It's so delicious. Everybody really loves this dish. This is great if you don't have time to make your own pie crust. Puff pastry adds a nice element to this. And it's really good served with a side salad and some bread rolls. We made enough so I could bag the rest of this, and this is a filling for another day. So I could just put that in the crock pot one day and make another chicken pot pie. And I just wanted to show you, sometimes we have little sweet desserts like some chopped strawberries with whipped cream. Okay, we're gonna look at my mom's famous Bolognese recipe. I'm gonna take a chopped onion and 3 to 4 cloves of garlic smashed. Saute that until it's brown. Then I'm going to add about a pound of ground beef. Of course, you could double or triple this recipe if you're going to be using it as a freezer meal, which I frequently do. I season it, and after I drain the fat, now I'm going to add the tomatoes. So I add whole tomatoes. This is characteristic of how my mom does it, and I love it. So I add a can of whole tomatoes and some sauce, and I'm just going to season it with some Italian seasonings and let this cook for a while. If it cooks down too much, you could always add some water. But the characteristics of this dish really are the crushed garlic and the whole tomatoes. They make it so good. And I like to actually serve it with angel hair pasta. That's my favorite type of pasta. But you could serve this with spaghetti or any type of pasta that you like. And I just grate some fresh Parmesan cheese on top. And this is just comfort food at its finest. And everyone in the family will eat this dish so happily. Thanks, Mom. All right, I'm making air fryer fish tacos, and I am just going to chop up some cod that I had, and you can just chop it in little bits here. I'm going to leave the recipe down below. In the video, I actually messed up the order. You're supposed to dredge the cod in the flour and taco seasoning first, then dip it in the egg, then dip it in the panko breadcrumbs. But I was talking and I got distracted and I dipped them in the egg first. But it's okay, they still turned out really well. So I'm just going to place them in my air fryer basket that has been sprayed with some nonstick cooking spray. And I followed the directions on my air fryer. Everybody has different ones and different instructions, so you have to be mindful of that. But I just put this on frozen for 6 minutes, even though the fish was not frozen. That's just how the recipe goes. So now I'm going to be making a little sauce with some sour cream and mayonnaise. I'm not really measuring it, but if I were to hazard a guess, this would be about half a cup of sour cream and maybe a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And then I'm squeezing some lime juice in there as well. Salt and pepper, and this just makes a really refreshing topping. I'm also putting some garlic powder on this as well. It needed a bit more lime juice. Then I'm going to fry my corn tortillas, and this is key for good tacos for me, just frying them. It just makes it better. And there's the fish out of the air fryer. I top each tortilla with the fried fish, some shredded cabbage, and some of that delightful sour cream crema sauce. It's so good. This was really delicious. I think I could definitely improve my technique with the fried fish, but this was the first time I made it in the air fryer, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out. While we're on the subject of tacos, why not make a taco pizza? This recipe was from Kristen King's All the King's Morsels blog, so I will just leave her recipe down below. I modified it a bit because Kristen uses crescent rolls for her pizza dough, which I think is a really great idea, but I actually had a ready-made pizza dough from Trader Joe's, so I thought I would just use that instead. So I placed the pizza dough into my pan here, and on top of this I put some ground beef seasoned with taco seasoning, just like you would make for tacos. I placed the shredded cheese on top and all of the wonderful veggies. Olives are an absolute must. But I'm also going to be using tomatoes and bell peppers. Kristen's blog is really wonderful. You must check it out. Again, I will leave this recipe specifically linked down below. I cook this in the oven according to the directions on my pizza dough, so I can't actually remember what it was, but it was, 400 degrees for about 15 minutes, I think, 20 minutes. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. And I top it with some shredded lettuce here, and that just gives it a nice fresh element, as well as some extra cheese. And this was a big hit. It was fun to have a different flavor combination for our typical Taco Tuesday. So this was a really nice change, and I highly recommend this recipe. And finally, Carne Asada burritos. I don't know what was up with us this week, but we just really wanted Mexican food. So Ben is cooking the Carne Asada on the grill, and I just bought this ready marinated from Trader Joe's. So we didn't create the marinade ourselves. It just makes it easier that way for me. Okay, I have to be quick because they're all waiting for me. But basically, Ben grilled the Carne Asada on the grill, and I'm doing this on my phone, so I don't know if you can see, but there is the grilled meat. I have some homemade guacamole, some salsa, some lettuce, and some cheese in there. And then we have some steamed corn that I mixed with butter and seasonal on the side. And this is what the kids' plates will look like. So the baby will have like a deconstructed burrito, and so will my son. And then the girls will have the actual burrito, and that's it. So I know it looks kind of messy, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like when we feed the kids, because I usually just show you my plate. So that's Ben's plate, this one's mine, and then the kids have these they like these sectioned off plates because their corn goes into them. And that is what we're having for lunch. I gotta go because they are hungry. But anyway, I'll wrap this up into a burrito shape, and that's what we're gonna have. What do you guys think of the burritos?
Delicious.
I didn't taste mine.
You haven't tasted it? Mine's cold. I need to reheat it now, but this is what it looks like. Looks so good.
It's so good.
There you have it. I hope you enjoyed the meals this week. I hope it gives you some meal planning inspiration and ideas for what to cook at home. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you never miss a video. I love to talk about homemaking as well as living well at home. Thanks so much for joining me here on The Daily Connoisseur, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.